This is the best place you need to be. Welcome to the Voice of the People TV. My name is Kizike. This is the Sport Ride, and we talk about sports generally. But we start from the local news, where President of Nigerian Football Federation Ibrahim Muzakuza on Tuesday revealed that the football governing body will target some Eagles winning the AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire and Super Falcons claiming the WAFCON title they lost back in Morocco. Now he said also that all hands should be on deck to ensure that the national team perform much better in the respective competition in the next 1 year. He made this pledge while reviewing the activities of the NFF and the team in 1 year of his board in office, and also articulated expectations for the next 1 year. Now, while highlighting the achievement of the past years, which include the FIFA, talk about the first ever podium finish at the Under-17 FIFA Women's World Cup, our performance, the Flying Eagles at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup qualifying of the Super Eagles to 23 AFCON, and best ever outing by the Super Falcons at the FIFA Women's World Cup. Guzar also asseverated that the board and the secretary have worked in tandem to remove toxicity from the system and also enable the move get more conductive environment for the game in the country. Guzar also said his board will work assiduously and intelligently with the secretary and the Federal Ministry of Sports Development to see the Super Eagles off to a great start in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying series and to win the 34th edition of the AFCON back in Ivory Coast, coming up forward, in the early next year. So we want to know what comes to play next. How are we going to win it? Now, don't forget, Jose Pesero remains our manager, and then it means if we get it right this time around, he should get some accolades for himself. But do we have what it takes to get there? Yes, we do have what it takes to win the AFCON, and the kind of players we've got, the forward is scary. The likes of Victor Boniface, Terry Murphy, Taiwo Wanayi, Victor Osimhen, Kelechi Iheanacho, all of these guys are great players who can make the Nigerian side get to win it again. The last I recall, we did win it back in 2013 of blessed memory. This Stephen Kechi, we lost that man, to that struggle. But regardless, we move again. Now, quickly away from that story, let's talk about tennis. 6th seed Jannik Sinner produced a masterclass in aggressive tennis to hand Carlos Alcaraz 7-6, 4-6, 6-1 defeat in the semifinal of the China Open. On Tuesday, to book a title clash with the informed Daniel Medvedev. Jack Sinner edged a test fight, setting the latest chapter of the growing rivalry with world number 2 Carlos Alcaraz before the Italian went on the offensive in the next reel of the game to seal his 4th win over the Spaniard in 7 meetings. Earlier, second-seeded, talk about Jannik Sinner on that part. Now, we talk about Daniel Medvedev have also had an earlier than expected 6-3, 6-3 semifinal win over familiar rival Alexander Zverev. This was the 5th meeting between the part and the pair this year. And although the Russian world number 3, Daniel Medvedev, won 3 of the previous 4, Zverev also had won their most recent clash in Cincinnati. Zverev also won the Chengdu title last weekend, and also about the German 7-match winning. And that's a great streak ended as Medvedev, now strong serve, saw him off on a 4-point break as a face-off. Now, next on, we talk about football. This one looks very complicated, where former AC Milan player Kevin Prince Boateng had coming to advise, sounds funny to know, advising the Red Devils to sack manager Erik ten Hag for his poor treatment on Cristiano Ronaldo. In the chat with reports, Boateng believed ten Hag is not on the level to be Manchester United coach, criticizing the Dutchman handling of both Ronaldo and Jadon Sancho at Old Trafford. He thinks ten Hag needs to go. Boateng told reporters that, what I'm saying, there is no energy. I don't see any energy. And then what he did to Ronaldo and all that, it's too much stuff. I think he's not on the level to be the coach of Man United. Even the team is not the best for him. They have got some good players, but not with the best side. Now, it's about this man. He's a player who have come to love long level of football. You just want to say he's a world-class player. At some point, we did see him win the Champions League, with Bayern Munich, Allianz Arena, Lewandowski, the likes of players that got Kimmich at that point. And right now, he's coming to say that we still heard something about the man saying about head manager don't need to manage United. And what we saw yesterday, Galatasaray getting the results, all of this happens to be yardstick where we begin to see people come to say that manager Erik ten Hag is not the right man for Man United. He did well last season, giving them the Carabao Cup, but losing out yesterday to the Turkish outside outfit away from home, it was a great result. Now let's talk more on football, where Frank Lampard could become a coach of Leon Balogun and Cyril Dessers. The England legend is open to replacing Michael Bale at Rangers. Lampard is one of the candidates being considered for for the vacant position at Ibrox following Bielsa's sack on Sunday. Lampard is believed to be among the list of contenders for the job alongside AZ Alkmaar coach Pascal Jansen and Felipe Clement. It is believed that the Chelsea legend will need to be convinced of the club plans, having managed a difficult situation at both Everton and Stamford Bridge, respectively. Bale was sacked just 7 games into the season, with the side sitting in third position, also 7 points behind the rivals. I'll talk about Celtic, who are league champions. Lampard could be set for a title job for 2023. He was sacked by Everton in January before taking charge of Chelsea and winning just one of his final 11 games. Dale also had made 6 appearances in the league and scored just 1 goal, while Balogun has also made just 1 league appearance. And Frank Lampard happens to be the closest man to be managing the Rangers side. Still on football news on the show right now, Chelsea left back Ben Chilwell is set to miss around 8 weeks due to a hamstring injury. Chilwell was forced off late in the Chelsea Carabao Cup against Brighton and Hove Albion. Bills manager Mauricio Pochettino concern was obviously, as he confirmed, it's a bad news from what the doctor told him. So Ben Chilwell at the moment is out. Chelsea are waiting the result of further assessment. According to reports, they are now expecting Ben Chilwell to be sidelined for around 2 months. It is a bad one for Chelsea. Whether he's able to reduce that time or it end up taking longer for him to return, it will be determined by how he responds to the early stages of the rehabilitation process. In a post on social media, Ben Chilwell expressed his frustration following the injury, and Ben Chilwell is out for Chelsea. Some like to call him the glass leg player. He's a man bought for £50 million, from Brighton and Hove Albion, and right now he's really facing it. That's Chilwell. Ben Chilwell, from Leicester City, I beg your pardon. That time we saw those moves, and they really did a cash out on that. But let's quickly talk about the Champions League. It continues again. Sounds funny to share with you what happened yesterday. If you did miss all those games, I'm so sorry. You really missed a lot. It continues today again, but let's talk about Inter Milan. The Nerazzurri beating Benfica 1-0 in the Champions League Group D match at the San Siro on Tuesday, thanks to a brilliant goal from Marcos Thuram. The Serie A leaders runner up in the Champions League and season are second in the group standard behind Real Sociedad. Neither team could make a breakthrough in the first half with Benfica goalkeeper Anatoly Drobit saving from downs of Dumfries, while Jan Sommer at the other end denied Fredrik Ozane an opener. Simon Inzaghi's side dominated the second half with the chances of Dumfries and 2 clear-cut strikes from top spot scorer Lautaro Martinez, who netted 4 against the Laetano in the league on Saturday, which bounced off the crossbar. Now, Marcos Thuram finally gave the lead to the Inter Milan with a win in the 64th minute, finishing off a cross from Dumfries, set up by a superb long pass from Nicolo Barella. Inter Milan next hosts RB Salzburg on 24th October, while Benfica, last on the table, will face Real Sociedad of Spain. I'm still talking about Champions League football. Thomas Müller came off the bench to set up the winning goal for fellow substitute Matteo Stel, as Bayern Munich came from a goal down to beat Denmark FC Copenhagen 2-1 in the Champions League Group A clash in Parken Stadium on Tuesday. The home side took a short lead in the 56th minute when Bayern failed to clear Victor Claessen's shot, and midfielder Lucas Lerenga followed up with a clever bounce and drive to put it down the champions in the driver's seat. Bayern Munich struck from the 67th minute as Jamal Musiala linked up left and right on the edge of the area before dispatching a low shot into the corner of the net beyond the dive of Camille Grabara. Making his 144th appearance in the Champions League, the 34-year-old Thomas Müller teed up Tel for an 83rd minute winner that puts Bayern top of the group on 6 points. Thomas Tuchel, we could say he's really cooking up something right there. I love to say that Bayern Munich are ready to go, and they look like a team that's not stopping anytime soon. The likes of players have got just few players making the team. Harry Kane, we saw his good football yesterday, but it was about Lemar and also Kimmich in the midfield. Leon Goretzka was on the bench, but I love the move from this young man, this German international, Jamal Musiala, who I could call the best number 10 in the world at the moment, also competing with that of Jude Bellingham. It was great to see that, but I say miracle doesn't happen in the church all alone, it happens in football. Now, yesterday we saw RC Lens Eleo Wahi scored 1 goal and set up another in the sterling performance to secure a 2-1 home win against Arsenal and put the side on top of the Champions League Group B on Tuesday. The 20-year-old Wahi got the winner in the 69th minute after feeding Adrian Thompson in the first half equalizer following Gabriel Jesus' opener at the packed stadium. The ball at the Laces. Frank Heiselen's team, who were also helped by a superb save from Bryce Samba, then helped the Premier League side to hand Arsenal their first group stage defeat in 10 matches. Lions, back in the Champions League for the first time in 21 years, have 4 points ahead of Arsenal with 3. Sevilla also have 2 after a 2-2 draw at PSV Eindhoven, who have 1 point. Now, moving on to Champions League story right now, let's talk about one big one that happened where we saw 14-time major champions winner. You could say they are the best team in the world when you talk about Champions League. And the Champions League yesterday, we did say the game was so nice. We had our own Victor, our compatriot Osimhen, prolific international forward, Nigerian stars. Did he register? Of course he did not, but Di Lorenzo and the rest of players, and Keita, Zambo, Meret, Demes, Zelensky, Petros, Zelensky, all of those guys, Chico Araskelia, all fielded by Rudy Garcia in the team. But it was about the best side having the day. And before I talk about the story, I want to share with you that Jude Bellingham has brought a whole lot of transformation, and everything you want to talk about in the middle of the park right there for Real Madrid. Now Luka Modric happened to be on the bench to watch the game. You will see the game. You come in and be a super sub. Now what about Nacho, and Rudiger starting now? And yesterday we did see goals, wonderful one, from a comeback from the Galatasaray. Moving on right now, Alex Meret, unfortunate own goal, handed Real Madrid the 3-2 win at Napoli on Wednesday, which moved to the Spanish giant top in the Champions League Group C. Italian international goalkeeper Meret could not do anything to stop Federico Valverde's powerful deflected shot, crashing out the bar and back into the goal of his outstretched arm in the 12th minute from the end of the entertaining clash in Naples. That unlucky rebound maintained Madrid perfect start to the group stage and moved them 3 points clear of both the Italian champion and Braga. 3-2 winners over bottom side Union Berlin earlier on Tuesday. Now, let me say this now. I don't know. It's not been like it's going to be reviewed anytime soon, though. But the goal from Federico Valverde, the goal from the outside, he did strike that. That was a very wonderful shot. We know what he can actually get to do at the time. The Uruguay international is always out of the box. A wonderful cross from Modric. And that was so amazing. Fantastic football, we just say. Federico Valverde any time, any day. You don't want to take away anything from this guy. And that shot, he struck very well. And he got the, he got the ball in the post. But the question is, why was it an on goal? Maybe if I was a VAR reviewer, if I work with them, I should have awarded him that on goal. But Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, this team is having a wonderful transition under this man. Talk about Carlo Ancelotti. We've seen Jude Bellingham playing a very different style of the game. Sometimes he plays as a center midfielder, more of like a number 10. Sometimes we see him being drifted up front to play as attacking role. And this is a formidable force from Ancelotti. And this is the reason why most teams will struggle playing against Real Madrid. We know the players the team have got some issues back then, where you talk about, what's his name now, Antonio Rudiger pairing with Nacho. Normally we know Eder Militao, with Alaba. But right now, it's the different ball game where those ones have to struggle, but it's really working out and paving way. Let's talk about another disastrous game that was played yesterday at Old Trafford. And we keep talking about this, but maybe, just maybe, you never know in life sometimes until you try. Manager Erik ten Hag, for me, is on pressure, and he should be very careful because he just might be sacked. We're talking about one of the best clubs in England, if not the best. And now, Man United miserable season continued as they slumped to a 3-2 defeat at home to Galatasaray on Tuesday to leave them bottom of the Champions League and in all kind of disarray. Looking to pull the fourth Premier League defeat of the season against Crystal Palace on Saturday to the back of the Mainz. United flew out of the traps in the Manchester United race, racing into a 17-minute lead through Denmark striker Rasmus Højlund. Now the advantage it lasted just less than 6 minutes. However, Wilfried Zaha, who is new to the Turkish football and not new to the Premier League, knows the stadium very well. Before the game, he had 3 in 4. He has scored 3 goals in 4 games at Old Trafford. So we can recorrect now to say 4 goals in 5 matches at Old Trafford. That's for Zaha. Playing against his former club, scooped home equalizer after poor defending from the host. And now let's keep talking about that game after the break. Højlund brilliantly capitalized on the sleeve from Galatasaray defender Davis Sanchez to clip United back in front of 67 minutes, only for Kieran Antetokounmpo to help level 4 minutes later and storm Old Trafford into silence. A mistake from United goalkeeper Andre Onana forced Brazilian midfielder Casemiro to concede a penalty, which saw him sent off after receiving a second yellow card. Do you know something before I move on? Casemiro played, he played 222 games for Madrid, and we saw red card like twice. Now, for Manchester United, we can count those games. 70 million price tag move, pounds, talking Casemiro right now was shown a red card, and that's a bad one for you. I think he's really struggling with the team, though. My opinion, don't get me wrong. Now, Mauro Icardi left United off the hook as he drilled the spot kick wide, but the Argentine picked himself up and started home to find the winner. 9 minutes from time to end, Galatasaray up to a second in the group of 4 points and leave Man United pointless. that game we did say, let me quickly do some little talk about that very much game that we saw yesterday. Manchester United, are they really playing well? Some guys are cool to go. The likes of Hannibal, I love to see him play. He's just 20. Rasmus Højlund makes every comfortable run. Mason Mount feels to be adjusting to the team. He's getting his nice gameplay. Now, we did see Anthony come from the bench. The manager, Erik ten Hag, I want to say his plans and style of play is not really working out at the moment, because I could say he's having a confusion selections right now. Selection problems is one thing we should need to talk about Ten Hag. But the way the team play, what's the urgency, what's the spirit, how do they play? They are bottom of the league. Can you compare it? Can you talk about Galatasaray and, you talk about manager Erik ten Hag? Now, a whole lot of people have come to say he likes to field in his best selection. He likes to field in the Ajax guys. Now, this is a problem for one man who I feel so much. I'm so sure United will celebrate him when he leaves for the AFCON. Talk about Andre Onana. The goals he's conceding is just so much. You can't concede 18 goals in 10 games. You can't keep doing that. A friend of mine told me that each time the ball comes to the goalpost, it just goes in. And Andre Onana came in very comfortably. He is the reason why the manager had to leave David ahead to go. Now, I'm not so surprised now where Barting has come to say the manager, Erik ten Hag, is maltreating players. He has his own points. He has his own yardstick to say, yes, this is just what it is. Now, Ronaldo left Man United, and when he left United, the manager knew Ronaldo was not in his plans, and he gave him every edge to say, you play for my team. And we saw the problem they had after Ronaldo's interview with Piers Morgan, and that happened, and he left the club. Now, Jadon Sancho has come to say, I will never apologize to the manager. I would not apologize to the manager because he is not doing it right. So, I don't want to say as a teen or as a teenager, but as a young player growing up and trying to grow his brand, he needs to understand, he needs to work for himself very well. But let's quickly say that manager Ten Hag should be very much careful, because if he continues this way, then I would say that he's going to be sacked. The boards, the Glazers family, you already know how they work, and this will not be easy. But don't forget, the Champions League continues today again. Don't miss out on the games. It will be very interesting to know that the game continues today, and after that, the Europa Conference League and the Europa League comes up for Thursday. Thank you so much for sticking around with me right here on Voice of the People TV. I remain your host. My name is Kizzy K. I'm signing out. Peace out.